Built by Simon for branded for Lance, the Cabo scooter line is all about aggressive sports styling and fun. Even though it's built like an off-road ride, Lance insists the Cabo is not intended to be ridden off-road. Really? What about the action still showing the Cabo in the dirt? Even in the official Lance Cabo video, the rider does a little flat tracking off-road. So is it a street-only scooter, or does the promotional material lie? I really like the Cabo scooters, and I was a little disheartened by the repeated statements that it isn't intended for off-road. Let's take a look at this off-road scooter that you're not supposed to take off-road. Design first, let's look at the blah blah blah. Storage under the seat holds a half helmet, that could be bigger. Weight-wise, the compartment holds up to 11 pounds and it isn't watertight. Caught in the rain, you'll be okay. But you'll want to empty the storage compartment before you wash the scooter. The compartment is right next to the engine, so keep in mind that anything you put in there while you ride is going to get warm. The Cabo has 2 helmet hooks, a nice feature if you usually take a friend. The instrument cluster is easy to read and includes a speedometer, odometer, tachometer, fuel gauge, high beam and turn signal indicators, and an oil life indicator to alert you when it's time to change the oil. With a seat height of 31 inches, it's easy enough to find the ground even if you have to slide forward off the seat to do it. And speaking of the seat, the red accent stitching gives it a stylish tailored look. For security's sake, there's a kill switch if you plan to leave the scooter parked unattended. It's always nice to come back to where you parked it and have your ride still be there. Chassis for Lance, Simon kept to certain aspects of the traditional scooter look with the full step-through and flat deck, a feature I always like, and not just for the extra little bit of cargo space, either. A tubular steel frame supports the scoot, another point in favor of this ride as I don't really care for monocoque, or unibody, stressed skin arrangements, too easy to total and a minor fender bender. A swing mount system that uses the Dhruva Train as a stressed member to mount the rear tire completes the bone structure. For a bike that is not intended for off-road use, according to the factory, the builders sure did mount some unusual tires. These 12-inch hoops are pure D street knobbies, and if they aren't meant for off-road work, I'll eat my hat. Hydraulic front forks and a rear monoshock lift the Cabo up for 8.1 inches of ground clearance, the highest clearance in the Lance lineup. Ample ground clearance is an off-road feature, yeah. A single disc brake controls the front wheel, with a twin-pot caliper to bind the really sporty-looking 190mm wave cut disc. As with nearly every other scooter the world over, the Cabo range runs with a mechanical drum brake on the rear wheel, and though it's a bit small at only 130mm, it is sufficient to control the 240-pound mass, plus rider. No ABS or linked brakes, but that is a plus for a scooter not meant for off-road work. How else could you pull sliding turns and other stunts with it? Dhruva Train. Though the chassis are identical, apart from the available colors, the Dhruva Train necessarily sees some differences between the models. Actual engine displacements are close to their respective model names at 49cc, 124cc and 151cc, and all 3 mills come with Simon's ceramic cylinder coating that is supposed to reduce friction and increase durability. Unfortunately, it precludes the possibility of boring out the cylinder when it finally does wear out, but that's a minor point, and easy enough to just buy a new jug. All 3 4-stroke plants come with air cooling, capacitor discharge ignition (GD), as well as a kickstarter as a little bonus. They all run the typical continuously variable transmission (CVT) for easy twist-and-go operations sans cumbersome clutching and shifting operations. Now for the relevant metrics. The 50 mil produces 1.9 horsepower and 1 pound and 61 pence-feet of grunt, with a governed top speed of 30 miles per hour, while the 125 cranks out 8.38 horsepower and 6 pound and 14 pence-feet for 59 miles per hour, all at 7,500 rpm and 6,500 rpm, respectively. As you might expect, the 150 brings out the big guns, haha. With 10.3 ponies at 7,500 rpm, and 7 pounds and 96 pence of grunt that comes on a bit earlier at 6,000 rpm, and a top speed of 65 miles per hour. Mileage is important, especially with such a small, 1.37 gallon, fuel tank, and the numbers fall out according to engine size. The 150 gives up 87 miles per gallon, while the 125 bumps that a bit up to 90 miles per gallon, but the 50 is the clear winner at 170 miles per gallon. That's what I like to call around the world on 3 tablespoons of gas kind of mileage. Mileage and top speed are going to depend a lot of your weight and where you're riding, but you get the picture. Pricing MSRP on the Cabo 50 is $1,599 and comes in your choice of midnight black, chili red, intense yellow or burnt orange. If you go for the Cabo 125, add Arctic white in addition to the colors offered on the 50 and add $400 to the price. The Cabo 150 runs $2,299 and gets a selection of matte colors, matte white, matte black, matte green or matte red. The Cabos are covered by a 24-month limited warranty.